Hey, so amazing. You see how they playing? LiveWire, it's all about sports and entertainment. You don't wanna miss it, so official like you never seen. Keep it going till the whistle blowing from the referee. Everything from highlights and stats, you know that we gotta run it back. Whether on the field or the court, you know that this is where it's at. Subscribe, no delaying. This is LiveWire, sports and entertainment. Let's go.
What's good, Washington Commanders fans? All right, today I'm definitely going to jump in. This is my weekend edition of Washington Commander News, where I go over some stuff for the week and things that have been pretty much locked in. We're gonna go over things what Jason Wright said about the sale of the team. The new stadium. We're going to talk about a little bit about Daniel Snyder and what his potential role is for him to receive still compensation once the sale of the team. And we're going to talk about Eric Bieniemy, what things with his offense scheme going to look like for this Washington Commanders team going into the 2023 season. And we're going to touch on, the life and legacy of Jim Brown. So, without further ado, let's get to it.
After the game, it's the aftermath. Win or lose, we still wave our commander's flag. Riding with Wentz under center, making the pass. Jahan Dotson, young rookie, making a splash. The burgundy and gold, that's what we about. Jonathan Allen knocking QBs to the ground. We die hard and nobody can shut us down. Cause this is the greatest show in town. Let's go. Go, 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 go.
All right, so we back again. Now, like I said, there's this is my weekend edition, so I always cover everything that went on through the week. If you don't catch probably like a short video version of certain events or certain details that transpired through the week. But anyway, so I'm going to start off with Jason Wright. Now, shout out to Rio Robinson, who had an interview with Jason Wright on his show earlier this week. If you didn't catch that video or catch that interview, be sure to subscribe to Rio Robinson YouTube channel, and then you'll see the whole video from that point. But these are some things that Jason Wright was talking about. He was talking about the sale in the stadium. And according to Brian Manning of the Commanders Wire, the team president Jason Wright was talking about Eric Bieniemy a little bit, going for certain things that think is going to help the Commanders. Like once the sale, the team is finally in transition, how it's going to boost revenue with the Commanders, how it's going to put more fans in the seats and stuff like that. So Jason Wright spoke, and he said that for us who have been talking to folks in the community behind the scenes, we know that there has been positive engagement and enthusiasm for potential, again, across all areas, Maryland district and the Virginia area, Wright said. And this was per Mark Maskey and Nikki Javala of the Washington Post. He also stated that also because of that, it is not as surprising to us, but it's just more of the public decision now. And what I like about it is leaders and articulating a vision that we can get behind, because that has been what we were saying all along. The best thing that we can do is get behind a vision of local leaders who know how to the best develop a community economically and socially, and that's their expertise. And granted, I agree with him wholeheartedly, because when you have like previous ownerships and previous guys that took over teams, you have to think a little bit where you want to go, how you going to interject, or how you going to communicate with the fans. Now, one of the hottest topics is because now that Josh Harris and his group is going to be owners of the Washington Commanders, everybody been talking about either name change, a new stadium, change the color of the uniforms, and so forth and so on. Me personally, I don't care about the name. If it's not going back to Washington Redskins, I really don't care. Once you start winning, the brand of that name takes a whole identity of its own. You know what I'm saying? That's where you have to make sure you put the right product out there. You draft or you hire the right personnel to bring a winning culture. Winning cures everything. And I said this so many times, is that the name could be, if we won a Super Bowl under the Commanders, people say, well, hey, you know what? We won a Super Bowl with that name. Let's keep it stick. Yeah, people don't like the name Commanders or whatever the case might be. They wanted Werewolves. Me personally, I want to win. That's my main thing. Something feverish as a name change does not. You can change the name as many times as you want. If you ain't on the field winning, you know what I'm saying? Because guess what? When you're losing, the main thing they do is they'll pick your name, making some kind of joke of it, and everything like that. You know what I'm saying? Like, I listened to two pros and a cup of Joe. They call the Commanders the Commodores. You know what I'm saying? Or whatever whatever the case might be. Me personally, every name is going to get joked on. You know what I'm saying? But the thing about it is, you're going to have to win. You have to win games. And I will be doing another video probably today about Ron Rivera and what his fate is going into the season. Me personally, I feel like with Daniel Snyder, having a stronghold over this franchise for so long, it kind of put a little sour taste in everybody's mouth. And you definitely can't expect so much, from a person that can't really do too much things. So I think with Josh Harris and his group, with Magic Johnson on board, it's going to be one of those things that you're gonna have to sit back and watch and be patient. We can't just anticipate and want change immediately. Like, it takes 5 years to get a name change. The main thing I want to see is a stadium. Rather than RFK or somewhere else, I want a new stadium. But first, we got to upgrade the one that we have, because it's not good. So that's what I think is more and more important. And, because you also in this report, it also states that, Washington owner Daniel Snyder finalized the deal to sell the team to Josh Harris a week ago. And since that time, talk has ramped up about the team's new stadium could be built. A Washington, D.C. councilman, which he wants a new stadium back into D.C. That's the main thing. I want it back there. That's where the richness of the Washington franchise was founded on in DC. Not saying founded on, but the glory days, the victories, the all the special moments, the great rivalry games, playoff games and stuff like that. All of that stuff, the players. And so he made a case for the Commanders to return back to D.C., while Maryland Governor Wes Moore wants to keep the team in Prince George County. I don't think a lot of people want it there. I think, that was just, I don't understand why Daniel Snyder moved that team anyway. He should have been able to work out something with, to rebuild RFK Stadium, I don't know, and then just play at a temporary location. However, Josh Harris believes it is Virginia who could provide the Commanders with the best option. For now, while Harris continues to work with the NFL on getting a deal across the finish line, Wright said they plan to keep operating in business as usual mode, hoping the sale is final sooner than later. He also thinks that there is a major line items that come above a certain level. Some major things that need to be done. We talked to Dan and Tanya about it. Wright said that they can broker a conversation with Harris potentially on their behalf, but in the meantime, we going to keep the operation. Hopefully, it doesn't take as long. And I think what Jason is trying to say is that there's certain things that they want to do, but they know that it's hard to do or make decisions to do because of the sale of the team. And Josh Harris needs to approve because Daniel Snyder can't make the decision to do anything long as the sale is transferring from one person to the next. So they have to get clarification from Josh Harris, and Josh Harris has to say, you know what, okay, let them do this here right now, but no more, no less until this is finally taking place. Daniel Snyder and Tanya could go to them, Jason Wright, and say, hey, y'all allowed to do this, X, Y, Z, but make sure it's, whatever the case may be. So, and that's why you see certain things that we haven't done. Probably like spend money like we want to or whatever. Ron Rivera cheap anyway. So there are certain things that could be done. But we all know right now that the NFL is not planning on voting on a new sale anytime soon, and it could take to the summer. So if it does, and we might see something happen just before the season starts. I mean, that's how long it could take. But in the meantime, everything is imminent right now. So, and then, Jason Wright, he's going as business as usual. And that's how he's supposed to do. Take interviews because you really is the main guy out there, talking to people and stuff. Ron Rivera does. Him and Jason Wright, they go, and well, not Martin Mayhew and Ron Rivera, but Jason Wright, he's pretty much talking and trying to get things established the way it needs to be. Also, I want to go over this thing with Dan Snyder about him. I guess getting whatever the course, what it was supposed to be, what I believe is like payouts, burnouts, something like that, earnouts, yeah. So now, and this is where I find it kind of crazy because Daniel Snyder still can make money off this team, and it's I don't really know too much about the validity of it, where it comes down to where you have to because any time ownership changes hand, I never seen where another owner still, he sold the team and then he still get a chance to make money off the team. But I do believe if they wasn't trying so hard to get Daniel Snyder out of there, and probably all of these provisions, the lineages, and the contract wording, that's probably why some of the things are being held up with the sale right now, because they want to make sure everything is in a gray. Is not in so much in that gray area. They want to make sure that the wording is right and it passes through without any hiccups. Because the NFL Financial Committee did say that this is something they never seen before. That Josh Harris and his group have 17 minority investors, but you got to think he needs he got all of these backers because there's going to be certain things that he's going to need them for, like help get a new stadium or push to get a new stadium. And there's going to be financial things like upgrading the current facility and everything like that. You know, you got contract situations you're going to have to deal with and all of that. So I know it's going to get done. I'm not worried about it. I'm not worrying about it as much as I did a few months past. But knowing that Daniel Snyder could still get an earn out if certain structures with the team is met. Like, I guess the earnouts represent a relatively small but perhaps meaningful portion of a overall sale price. They wrote, and this article comes from Paul Cashabaran. I put Paul K. I'm not gonna butcher this man's name. I'm sorry. I'm good at pronouncing some things. Some things I'm just gonna leave alone. But the earnout, they say in conclusion of the deal explains in part why people familiar with the deliberation of the NFL Financial Committee last week describes the sale agreement between Harris and Snyder as unusually complex. Mike Florio of Pro Football Talk noted that this report dovetails with one produced by ESPN's Seth Wickersham and John Klein. We all know John Klein. If you're not, follow him on YouTube for the Klein Report. Who obtains a copy of the Harris Blitzer Sports and Entertainment document. In that document, it includes the belief that the removal of Snyder, who is subject of multiple investigations and presides over a large losing Commanders team since he bought it in 1999. But would attendance boost? Yeah. Will ticket sales increase? Yeah. Will sponsorship revenue be a little bit more lucrative? Yeah. With Daniel Snyder out of the way. As well as the team prospects for a new stadium. The document also expressed optimism at securing public funding for $1.5 billion from the state of Virginia for a new football stadium. The earn-out payouts will presumably go to Snyder if Josh Harris and his team hit financial benchmarks in a potential more detailed financial era for the Commanders. Now, Harris, who is also partners with Philadelphia, managing partner with the Philadelphia 76ers and New Jersey Devils, announced agreement to buy the team from Snyder over a week ago. But Harris do have limited partners, including Donard Corporation, co-founder Mitchell Rouse, and NBA legend Magic Johnson, who is part of the LA Dodgers ownership group. And I think, honestly, with the earnouts with that is because whatever the new stadium is, because I think maybe this is some way to reward Snyder, even though, because I don't think Snyder was going, I believe he was going to sell to Mitchell Rouse and Josh Harris too, but I think he wanted something out of it. And this is, like I said, this is why it's taking so long to get this done, because there are so many detailed things that's in this, so much detailed things that's in this contract that has to be ironed out and making sure that it stays on the up and up. And I think if Daniel Snyder didn't have all this going on, I don't think the NFL would have rushed so fast just to get him up out of there. You know what I'm saying? But now that he has done so much damage, they're like, okay, you know what? Let's go ahead and get this done. Let's accept this, but we can't vote on it right now until we make sure all the the contract agreement is up. So me personally, I like I said, there will be a sale, but just when, we don't know. Like I said, it could be before the start of the season, which is September, or it could be around August. And Mark Messier also did say that the earnout is a deferment payment that will be made to Daniel Snyder with the amount of contingent on a franchise reaching financial benchmarks, which could be worth more, about $2 million. One source say. I mean, so you got to think about it. Daniel Snyder is still gonna make millions off this team after he's gone. That's crazy. That just think about that for a minute. This man is selling this team for $6 billion, but he's going to still, if the team reaches certain benchmarks, he's going to still end up probably about $2 million on top of that. This man, it's crazy to me. I don't understand it, but it's crazy. I mean, it's crazy. It's crazy just to sit here and just fathom that, like, hey, yeah, we're going to get rid of Daniel Snyder, but guess what? Daniel Snyder still is going to make almost $2 million if the team reach certain benchmarks, in which we all know the team is going to reach those certain benchmarks, because Josh Harris is not going to sit back and let this team be just what it is. It's not. It's not going to be that way. You know what I'm saying? So with that being said, man, I just think right now, I mean, and I do want to caution Washington fans is that, yeah, we got Josh Harris in place. Just don't expect immediate turnaround as quickly. Now, we do have things in place for our success to having an immediate impact. Now, so that's what I want y'all to understand, that no matter what, we still gonna be in a good spot to do certain things. So we just gotta wait and see. So now I do want to dive into Eric Bieniemy. I want to talk about him a little bit, because I do believe that Eric Bieniemy right now is doing the things that he needs to do, for this team. Eric Bieniemy is going to have his stamp on this team. Eric Bieniemy is going to bring what he has learned from Andy Reid in Kansas City and bring it to the Washington Commanders. The Washington Commanders should be a top 10 offense this year. Understand how? Regardless of the brutal schedule that we have, I still believe that Washington could have a top 10 offense. And that's enough to put you in the playoff and win a playoff game. Heck, I mean, if it pushes you farther, hey, I agree. Me personally, I think that Dallas and the Giants will take a step back. I think Washington will take a step forward. I think the things that we have heard in minicamp so far, is very enticing. I listened to the Kevin Sheehan show, and they was talking about how in the past in training camp that these guys will go out and practice, but then come back and learn the book later. And where Eric Bieniemy is getting them to learn in the mornings and then in the afternoons translated on the field, which that's very, very important, because that gives you the thought of remembering. You know what I'm saying? If you go in and execute it early or practice early and then go in the classroom later, you're going to be tired. Your brain is not going to allow you to process information like it needs to. You know what I'm saying? It's going to have you like, oh man, what's this about? And so me personally, I just feel like at the end of the day that Washington and Eric Bieniemy, I mean not Washington, but Eric Bieniemy is going to get the best out of his guys. He's tough. He means what he say. Now, we all heard what Shady McCoy had to say over the fall, about Eric Bieniemy, and saying that it's the wrong choice. He shouldn't have left Andy Reid. But see, Shady McCoy thinks he knows everything. You know what I'm saying? Because he's on TV now. But you got to think, bro, you was with Tampa Bay. They didn't use you a lot. You was with Kansas City, didn't use you a lot. You end up getting a ring out of the process, not because who you was with the Philadelphia Eagles back in the day. It wasn't that. You was past your time, and they just used you accordingly just to get what they could get out of you. So, but rookie minicamp, includes the usual football chatter, grunts, and draft players and undrafted free agents, where we get to look at certain things, but my thing is all about Eric Bieniemy, what he's going to bring on. He gets out there, and he gets out there with them. He gets out there, coach them. He goes one-on-one with them. So therefore, Eric Bieniemy is making sure that everything goes to according to plan. He's out there yelling at guys. Yelling at the offensive lineman, the center, and say, "Hey, take control." You know what I'm saying? And this is good where Ron Rivera doesn't even have to put his initial face around the offense like he did with Scott Turner last year. He could either go off somewhere or let these guys coach. Like Andy Reid. Andy Reid still makes decisions, but he got who he has in place. I just think that Ron Rivera talks highly of Eric Bieniemy. I think Eric Bieniemy, like I say, he's going to push these guys. He's going to push these guys. They picked up another running back and Chris Rodriguez in the 6th round. A lot of people think that he's going to have a big impact, a big role on this team. This is something that could push Antonio Gibson, who has issues holding on to the ball, but he's very dynamic in the passing game. He's a little bit elusive, a little bit. So, but having these 3 guys, it's going to allow Eric Bieniemy to play chess, a lot of chess. He's going to find that matchup. He's going to look for, that one-on-one. You got to think about the receivers. They're going to have a huge impact on this offense. Jahan, who led the team with 7 touchdowns last year, could have been rookie of the year. Brian Robinson had a great second half of the season after getting shot in his leg. Antonio Gibson, looking for Cole Turner, Amani Rogers, all of these guys that have big impact. This is where it's at. This is where the rubber meets the road right now. This is where everything needs to line up. And I believe, and with Sam Howell, I think you're going to see it's going to bring the best out of Eric Bieniemy and Sam Howell. Now, if this fails, or if this doesn't pan out, and I do, like I said, I know that our schedule says a whole lot, but it's just something about this team that feels like they're going to achieve, and they're going to surprise a lot of teams. That's what I could say. They're going to surprise a lot of teams. They're going to surprise a lot of teams to where now you're going to have to start taking them serious. I think in the first half of the season, teams is not going to really think about them. We got a rookie and all of this stuff. But at the end of the day, I think it's going to be very, 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 very beneficial for the Washington Commanders and Eric Bieniemy. They say that he's constantly with the other coaches and constantly going through little details. Rivera say it's been a real interest in watch the way he handles things. As rookie minicamp opens, it will also be interesting to hear about the new offensive coordinator. So, I mean, the thing about it is that, like I said, I believe that Eric Bieniemy is going to bring, like him and Sam Howell is going to be really, really good. It's going to be good for each other. I think Sam Howell is going to benefit. There's going to be things Sam Howell is going to do that teams going to be looking at last year's Sam Howell and not look at this year's Sam Howell. I think Sam Howell definitely is going to benefit a whole lot from everything. And I'm me personally, I'm excited about it. I'm excited to see what Sam Howell going to do. There's so many talks about us all not having a drafting a quarterback, or we need a quarterback and all of that stuff. So I don't think that it's going to be a problem at all for Sam Howell to make that transition. You know what I'm saying? Because you got to think about it. Sam Howell, he's still in his rookie stage. He really hasn't and he could have had a chance to play more games last year. But who's to say that we would probably have to draft a quarterback. So we kind of like hid Sam Howell a little bit just to say, well, you know what? We don't want to show too much of him where teams get a lot of film on him, and then they won't be an element of surprise to him. That Dallas game was to showcase him a little bit, just enough. Now it's about to be a full display of Sam Howell with Eric Bieniemy in this offense. And you're probably going to see things Sam Howell has done in college. You might see some new things Sam Howell and say, well, dang, I didn't know he could do that. You know what I'm saying? Then Sam Howell's going to probably achieve feat to where people are going to say, well, you know what? Oh, we knew Sam Howell was the guy. Oh, Washington, it's far of a few that think Sam Howell is that guy for us. And there's a lot of them thinking that, well, you know what, hey, Washington should have drafted a quarterback. They're looking at all these other quarterbacks. I just think Sam Howell is going to impress and outshine everybody. I really believe that. So, thank goodness we got a real offensive coordinator in Eric Bieniemy. That's what I could say, because I think, if Eric Bieniemy does the things that he needs to do for this offense, like I said, this offense could be a top 10 offense in the league. I already know our defense will be top 5. So you have a top 10 offense and a top 5 defense, you're going to win games. You're going to win games. You could win at least 10 games this year. Make a playoff, win a playoff game. Heck, you could go to the NFC Championship game. Who knows? But until and the thing about it, I like it because these guys going out there and executing what Eric Bieniemy is asking for. You know what I'm saying? It's been years that we had the defense and we just ain't had the offense. Now this year, we're going to have the opportunity to have both rolling at the same time. I'll take a top 5 offense, top 10 deep offense all the time, and versus a top 5 defense. If you have a top 10 defense and a top 5 offense, that means you're going to have to mask things where the defense could bend but not break. But when having a top 5 defense, that create opportunities for your offense, then your offense could work under that top 10 status and do the things. Because to me, I feel like the Commanders are not, I won't say the first best, but probably up there as the second best, most talented team in the NFC. You know what I'm saying? Dallas lost some pieces. Giants still trying to get themselves together. Philly and Washington probably right there, almost 1A, 1B. You know what I'm saying? And talent-wise, I think our talent offense is just as greater, all greater than the Philadelphia Eagles. Even though they got A.J. Brown and Devontae Smith, but I'll still take our 3 receivers and our tight ends and running backs over theirs any day on offense. I think Jalen Hurts is just a neutralizer. He is the person that say, well, you know what? Hey, their offense is better than us because of Jalen Hurts. But if Sam Howell comes out this year with this offense, I will give us the best offense in the NFC, by none. I ain't worrying about that. They still gonna have to figure out the running back situation. Their receiver core still isn't that good. They still, I don't know what they got. I forgot they did draft a tight end, so whatever. Now, I know I've talked about a lot of different things, but I just want to kind of like get a full, a full recap on, a lot of different things and talk about one thing that I want to just, I'll probably do a separate video for that about the Brian Davis situation about, his company is trying to sue Bank of America for a failed $7.1 billion bid for the Washington Commanders. Don't know how true that is, but all of a sudden now he wants to sue for $500 billion in damages and alleged in the lawsuit. 5.1 billion has been deposited in Bank of America on 2 different transfers. Don't know how true that is, but I definitely would dive a little bit more into that later on. Also, Washington has rehired a trainer who had a DEA inquiry. Assistant athletic trainer Doug Kwan. 19 months after he placed on administrative leave doing an investigation of a drug administration. So he returned back to the team. He was at minicamp early on, so the NFL and NFLPA approved his return to the commanding staff. So it's up to Ron Rivera to continue to work with him. They brought him back, so that's fine and good. But who knows? Now, I want to take a short time just to go over Jim Brown. He was before my time, but Jim Brown, there's nothing you could say about Jim Brown. From his accomplishments, being an NFL legend, an activist, it's just one of those things. So, he died at 87. He played. He played, in the NFL. He did some great things, but at the same time, he stood for what he was. A man that a lot of people didn't know Jim Brown played in movies. Him and O.J. Simpson, they was movie stars. They played in NFL, but they went into movies. So, but I definitely, my heart, just know that we lost one of the, probably one of the greatest athletes that ever, like I said in my short, that laced up a pair of cleats. Jim Brown was out there just like how Muhammad Ali was, but the thing about it is, he played for the Cleveland Browns. He set records for the Cleveland Browns. He been in the Dirty Dozen movies, Any Given Sunday, The Running Man, Mars Attacks, Spike Lee's He Got Game. He been in a lot of few movies. You know what I'm saying? He played 9 years with the Cleveland Browns. What more can you say about this guy? He was a trendsetter. He set things in motion. So I just want to, continue to give my appreciation and shout out to the late great Jim Brown. So it's not too much words that can really say about him, but at the end of the day, he like I say, he was one of the greats. Like Gale Sayers, like O.J. Simpson was back then, but Jim Brown set it. He set the bar. You know what I'm saying? And for everybody, every running back to follow. So, but that's my weekend report. Continue to like, comment, subscribe to the channel. Hit that notification bell anytime I drop a hardcore video. Also, I will bring to y'all Commander fans starting this Friday coming up. It's called Washington. A little bit history of the Washington Commanders. So each Friday, I will bring probably a little short video dropping on this day. You know, this will happen in the Washington franchise. You know, I will go over stuff like for videos, players, stats, Super Bowl callbacks, playoff callbacks, players, coaches, everything. Just reliving some of the Washington golden era, you know, in football. You know that, you know, probably some of the new fans don't know, and some of us that still, you know, hey, remember this when the time this happened? So yeah. So stay tuned for that. That will be a new video dropping, a new series dropping on this Friday coming up. Until then, guys, stay blessed, and I'm out. Peace.